Hey folks, welcome to a pretty miserable West Cork. It's kind of the middle of the day, it's lunchtime actually. I'm doing a sneaky video to share with you, maybe something a little bit more historically Irish. A lot of us when we were growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. Ireland was a poor country and there was a couple of kind of Irish traditions, one of which was Pancake Tuesday. It's something we always looked forward to. There's probably a lot more religious significance. So some of you guys will probably know about, 40 days and 40 nights in the desert and all that crack. But for us, Pancake Tuesday meant Lent was coming. So we were going to have to give up a lot of really nice stuff for a month. And then we'd stuff ourselves with Easter eggs. But we also stuffed ourselves before Lent. And this was with pancakes. In Ireland, this was kind of done by the people of the house to use up the kind of high fatty and sugary food. So eggs, milk, sugar, butter was all used up. They turn them into things like boxty, which is a potato cake, or fruit cake, which is kind of a barn brack, if you want to look that up. And pancakes, of course. So, we'd have pancakes. Usually we'd have pancakes for dinner. That was an actual dinner. It was pancakes. And what was quintessentially Irish was crunchy sugar and lemon juice as the filling. And we'd stuff our faces with that, and we'd come into school the next day and it would be like, how many pancakes did you eat? And I had 10, or another person had 14. And this was kind of in the 80s and 90s in Ireland. I suppose in the last 10 or 15 years they've gotten a little bit more, you might put fruit in them or yogurt, or you might make them savory and have them with cheese and stuff. But I thought I'd show you, the kind of traditional thing about Pancake Tuesday and how they were made. And I have a few facts as well to tell you. So, Shrove is actually the real name for Pancake Tuesday. So it's Shrove Tuesday. This comes from an old English word going back to the Middle Ages, and it literally meant to confess your sins. And in Ireland, we have a date, 6th of January, called the Little Women's Christmas, where the ladies take a day off and the men do everything. And from that point until Pancake Tuesday was around about a month or thereabouts, and this was your time to confess your sins and to feel sorry for what's going on, blah, blah, blah. It was also actually a time when parents would get together to try and matchmake their kids. And in the 19th century in Ireland, Pancake Tuesday was the most popular day for marriages. A lot of people got married then. And this led to some really odd sort of, how would you say, traditions. If you can imagine, a lot of the Irish countryside are getting married on Pancake Tuesday. There was a lot of, not only are you indulging yourself in the fatty foods and, you're going to have Lent for the next month to give up the stuff, you kind of indulge yourself in what married couples would do, if you catch them adrift. Overall, it's a big indulgence. That had a kind of a backfire in that single people were all kind of left out a little bit. In where we are here in West Cork, there was a tradition that single people were kind of like, they had the piss pulled out of them. They were ridiculed a little bit for being single. And they made what's called, their name was placed onto what's called a Skellig list. So we have an island out here called Skelligs, and it's actually where Star Wars was filmed. It's a very beautiful place. I'll try and have a clip in. Hopefully we'll get out to it in a boat this summer. But because it's so far off the coast, it was said that the sun would set there a little bit later than Ireland. And it also operated on an old time that never came across. It was an old kind of a religious time. So you were put on a list to go out to the Skelligs with the idea that you might get an extra few hours to get a wife or to get a spouse or a husband. So all the single people were kind of searched out, and that turned into a parade on Shrove Tuesday or Pancake Tuesday. And there was a lot of singing, there was a lot of fun, there was a lot of dancing through the streets, and single people were kind of picked out. Sometimes they were kind of dragged into the parade and they were highlighted. And it was all kind of in good fun. This is before all the woke stuff of being offended. Everybody took part. So these lists were made and pinned up on the villages. They were called Skellig lists. And during the parade at night time, people would chant, go on, go out to the Skelligs. I suppose it was like a Club Med or, one of these single holidays to the Mediterranean of its time. The following Sunday was called Chalk Sunday. And again, it's around the time that Shrove was over, all the matches were made, and you'd highlight the singletons, and they were they had chalk X's put on their back as they went to church And I went along with it because it was a nice way of identifying who was still single and who didn't get matched. And you could identify them, but in some places the singles didn't like that. So this was called Puss Sunday, which is, puss in Irish means a scowl. So quite often your grandmother would say, "Get that puss off your face," like cheer up. But I suppose for singles weren't happy to be ridiculed, it was Puss Sunday, and when they were happy and there was a bit of crack, it was Chalk Sunday. Now, as if that wasn't enough, the following Tuesday, so a whole week after Pancake Tuesday, Sunday, and maybe even Puss Monday if it's tarry then, we had Salt Tuesday. A whole 7 days afterwards. If you still hadn't found a partner at this point, small little bits of salt would be thrown on the singles. It sounds like an awful dosing for the singles. We get to pancakes in a minute, but this apparently is where the phrase "being left on a shelf" came from, because essentially if you threw salt on a single person, you were leaving them on a shelf. So hopefully they'll still be fresh by next year and they'll be picked up. Kind of salting the singles. Okay, and then the final part about this whole thing, which I guess not a lot of people know, is in this region, Cork, there's a town called Mallow, and they had a fair. It was called a runaway fair on Pancake Tuesday, or Shrove Tuesday. And this was basically for all the single people that didn't want to get ridiculed, that really wanted to get married, and their parents didn't do a good job matching them up. So for many, many years, up until even recently, single people would go to Runaway Tuesday, the Runaway Fair, in Mallow, and they would basically meet other single people, and if they kind of clicked it, they would run away together to get married, so that before Lent, they would be married. Isn't that crazy? It's lovely to have these old traditions, but the thing that I reference the most is the pancakes. So let me get into them. It's a very simple recipe. Right, let's see if we can pull this off. First thing I'm going to do is gotta heat up a cheap pan. I am doing this because our pump house is pretty manky. We're kind of halfway between the pump house and the main house. But we do all of our kind of gas cooking in the pump house and all of our prep in the main house. But really there's not a lot of room to swing anything around, so I'm going to do it here. Really simple. We have butter, we have eggs, we have a plate to throw them on later, we have some sugar, we have some lemon, again for later, honey, because this is brown sugar and it's not very good in the mix, a little bit of butter. You should use real butter. Kerrygold is great, but we don't really have a fridge that works. Well, up until recently we didn't. We have spatula and knife. Okay, let's get cracking. Eggs, mixing bowl. This is going to be cheap and nasty, so don't worry too much about what I'm doing. Eggshell, get rid of them. Another eggshell, feed the foxes. So they say, I don't know the recipe, it's like a cup of sugar or something. Flour, sorry, not sugar. There's your flour. There's your milk. Now instead of the brown sugar, that's really crunchy, so I'm going to save that for the recipe. I'm going to throw in some honey. Should be enough. You don't actually need any, but no harm to have a little bit. Now this is only a small recipe. I'm going to have to make a lot more for my kids when they come home. Couldn't find a whisk, fork will do. Now, the Americans amongst us like a very thick and fluffy pancake. The Irish know that it has to be like a crepe. But I don't think I'm going to get a crepe without a whisk. And I actually need a little bit more liquid, so I guess this is going to be halfway between an American and halfway between an Irish pancake. What I give for a food processor, let me tell you. But then again, this is how all the Irish mammies used to do it back in the day. A bowl like this, eyeball the recipe, and a fork. Nothing fancy. We lose touch with our roots a little bit when we have our kind of €1,000 KitchenAid, but That's not bad now, actually. We might be ready to give it a go. So, let me get some of this fake real butter into the pan. Don't be shy. Immediately I can see that I foolishly put this on an uneven surface, so how am I going to address that? Let me quickly think this through. How do I get a level? Some more. That's not too bad now, actually. Whatever was in it last, it wasn't properly cooked and cleaned. A lot of burnt debris, so I don't think my pancakes are going to be perfect. Just get this in. Wow, that looks awful. Right, let me show you what we're looking for here. So this darkness is caramelized butter. We're looking for kind of, see these little holes popping through? That's telling us it's getting to cook. You can also see a little bit of color on the side, which means it's cooked through a little bit too quick. Now, in Irish tradition, if you could flip a good pancake, you were good wife material. If you couldn't, you're like going to be a spinster for your life. So my wife isn't here. I'm going to show the technique. You get it towards the end. This pan is actually loose, so look at that, look at that. Claire, you were one lucky woman. So that's my first pancake. How cool. I was sure I was going to do a few takes of that, but no. She's looking good, boys. In modern times, these pancakes would be put into quarters with the honey and lemon on the inside. I don't know what I'm pointing at. These would be cut into corners and served, but in the olden times they'd just be rolled up, so that's what I'm going to go for today. Okay, now I'm just showing off. That's good. I suppose I've got to make Claire one. Hang on. Right, so we're getting a bit of butter for Claire. Now, while mine is going, or while Claire is just getting warm, let me show you what I'm doing here. This is our sugar bowl. And I'm going to do this one-handed, but just drip a little bit of sugar in here. You're not really looking for sweetness. What I understand, he's licking her lips. What I understand is what we're looking for here is, right, let's do you. There you go, Claire. Let's say I don't get you anything. And then, what we got to do, get a little bit of, don't worry about cross-contamination. These are all going to be eaten by me in about 20 minutes. We got a little bit of, yeah, boys, this is going right back to my childhood, huh? Let's see what we got. Oh. Oh. I could be 6 again. This is unreal. Oh my god, it's so good. Anyway, I gotta get back to Claire's, I suppose. I'll make a bunch of these for us now. Kids will come home, make a load for them later. Yeah, and we get back some regular building soon. And Claire's got a secret, and she's gonna tell you tomorrow. All right, Claire, what are you going for?
I have chocolate and marshmallows.
A completely not traditional Irish pancake.
No, I don't like the lemon and sugar.
Really?
No. I do like yogurt sometimes.
Blowing.
It's very good.
Yeah?
Very, very good.
Marks out of 10?
10. They're pretty good.
Bit of a pause. Anyway, let's leave it up there. Nice short video for the day that's in it, and I suppose you'll be talking to them later on, will you? In a couple of days. How exciting. See ya.
Bye.